Ready, set, go.
Okay.
Dear, shall we get started with the
Let's
stream?
shall. I
Let's be.
I was stalling a little bit, half because I've been highlighting as many lines as possible, and half because this is the finale.
That's
Fair
fair.
enough. Yeah, I mean, we could have a little chat before, because it usually takes us about an hour and a half, so we have a half hour.
Yeah. Well, we have like
We-
20 minutes.
And then we got
we
the
haven't been
after
talking
party.
10 minutes. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
True, we got the
I kind of
after
want to. Let's take some time during the after to
To have a chat.
have a chat, reflect on some things. If we want, I can tell you all how the final two books end, because I can tell from this fit that they do not cover the same story beats as the books.
No.
All right, let's get started here. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Fit the 11th, in which our heroes do a lot of running and digging. Don't ask me how it works, or I'll start to whimper.
Incredible though it may seem, it is in fact possible that the strange and terrible history of the planet Brauntital, where Arthur Dent, Ford Prefect, and Zaphod People Brox are even now falling out of the sky onto curious and aggravating birds, admiring surprisingly large statues of unexpected people, i.e. Arthur Dent, exchanging hostile words with alien soldiers with inexplicable limps, and generally having a fairly peculiar time of it, may yet admit of some form of explanation. Furthermore, it is possible that this explanation will have more than a little to do with the mysterious somethings or whatchamacallits of which the bird people refuse to speak. On top of which, it is also possible that Lintilla the archaeologist, who may possibly turn out to have an almost impossibly strange life story, may play a major part in the uncovering of this explanation. It is even possible that pigs will fly, or that everyone will live happily ever after. In an infinite universe, everything, even the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is possible.
Tell me how you got here?
Impossible.
What do you mean?
Well, it's something called the infinite improbability drive. Don't ask me how it works, or I'll start to whimper.
But a ship?
Oh yes, a ship. It's parked in a cup 15 miles above us. Please don't ask me about that either.
Is there anything you are prepared to talk about?
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
What?
I know, all non-starters, really.
Can you reach your ship?
From here? No. What's the matter? You want me to go?
No, it's just our ship was found by the soldiers and disabled. We've no means of getting off the planet.
Well, I can't be much help. How many are you?
3 of us are here. Lintilla.
What?
Name.
Oh, Arthur. What's yours?
I just said Lintilla.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I thought you... Never mind. Hello.
Come, you can help us. We have a lot of digging to do, and the automatic drill's broken down.
I don't think you can dig your way off a planet, can you?
No. I said we're archaeologists.
Ah. You don't look as if you're in good condition for digging with your arm in a sling. Is it broken?
Oh no, it's just a pseudo-fracture. Pseudo-fracture. It's artificially induced. All the pain, swelling, and mobility of a fracture without the inconvenience of the fracture itself.
Is that good?
Good.
Yes, particularly.
Well, you wouldn't want me to have a broken arm, would you?
Well, no, of course not. I mean, I hardly know you.
Right, but the effect is useful.
Is it?
Yes, of course it is. Crisis psychology. The benefits of working under extreme pressure. Nothing more useless than a bored archaeologist. Come on, this tunnel leads us to the workface. See this device?
Looks like a watch.
It's a crisis inducer. Set it to Mark 9 and...
A little alarm bell starts up.
Hurry, they're after us.
Oh,
No one. Come on, through the tunnel. They're coming.
but...
They're coming.
Well, if you say so. They both scramble into the tunnel, with much rocky scrabbling, grunting, and panting.
The major problem which the medical profession in the most advanced sectors of the galaxy had to tackle after cures had been found for all the major diseases and instant repair systems had been invented for all physical injuries and disablements except some of the more advanced forms of death was that of employment. Planets full of bronzed, healthy, clean-limbed individuals merrily prancing through their lives meant that the only doctors still in business were the psychiatrists, simply because no one had discovered a cure for the universe as a whole, or rather the only one that did exist had been abolished by the medical doctors. Then it was noticed that, like most forms of medical treatment, total cures had a lot of unpleasant side effects. Boredom, listlessness, lack of, well, anything very much. And with these conditions came the realization that nothing turned, say, a slightly talented musician into a towering genius faster than the problem of encroaching deafness. And nothing turned a perfectly normal, healthy individual into a great political or military leader better than irreversible brain damage. Suddenly, everything changed. Previously best-selling books, such as How I Survived an Hour with a Sprained Finger, were swept away in a flood of titles such as How I Scaled the North Face of the Megaperna with a perfectly healthy finger, but everything else sprained, broken, or bitten off by a pack of mad yaks. And so doctors were back in business, recreating all the diseases and injuries they had abolished in popular, easy-to-use forms. Thus, given the right and instantly available types of disability, even something as simple as turning on the 3D TV could become a major challenge. And when all the programs on all the channels actually were made by actors with cleft palates, speaking lines by dyslexic writers filmed by blind cameramen instead of merely seeming like that, it somehow made the whole thing more worthwhile. Meanwhile, Tom Ford Prefect and Zaphod Beeblebrox, who have fortuitously landed on the back of a huge alien bird, are again finding that the most worthwhile thing in Ford's possession is something he acquired from the Salisbury branch of Marks and Spencer, shortly before the planet Earth was demolished.
Take us down to the ground, you stupid bird!
No, I'm just going to stick around here for a while, and sooner or later you have to let go and continue your journey. I'm sorry, but there it is.
Zaphod, hold on, I'm gonna crawl out along its neck.
No, what?
Crawl along its neck with my towel!
Crazy? Miles up on a mad bird, you're going to dry it behind the ears?
Watch!
Watch! I am going to pray, man. Know any good religions?
You watch! Here I go!
Ford grunts as he crawls slowly and painfully along the bird's neck.
Zaphod, how am I doing?
What?
How far have I gone?
How do I know, man? I've got my eyes closed. Don't you know how far you've got?
No, I've got my eyes closed.
Oh, terrific.
Get off my neck!
No!
Get off my... Ow! What are you doing?
This last line is accompanied by the swishing sound of a towel being wrapped around the bird's eyes.
I'm wrapping my towel around your eyes, bird.
I can't see where I'm flying!
You don't need to if you fly downwards. Just follow the force of gravity. It's very simple.
Zaphod and Ford and Zaphod run they are very tired. The following conversation is punctuated by the sound of lots of birds wheeling above them, screeching and cawing, and at regular intervals, a sort of heavy slop sound, as of a large dollop of wet matter hitting the ground.
Ew.
Ew.
That's disgusting.
That's what it says.
I know, but still.
It gives you a good idea of how it sounds, though, doesn't it?
Yup.
Great idea, wasn't it?
Keep running.
With the towel. Great little number.
Keep running.
Just follow the force of gravity, I said. It's simplicity. That always works, you know?
Will you keep running, man?
I'm running! And it's the simplest idea that takes the greatest intelligence, you know. I mean, forget Marvin. I'm the one you know, the intelligent one. When I go to bed at night, I don't need to read a book. I just glance through my brain for half an hour.
We have to find shelter.
There's something in the distance. I can't quite make it out.
Head for it and keep running, man. How many birds you reckon?
Couple of dozen.
Keep running.
They can't keep it up indefinitely. They'll have to go and eat something, you know? I mean, looking at it purely from biological angles, then you'll have to put their feet up for a couple of hours whilst they go through all the digestion bit, and then...
Keep running.
Yes, probably going to need a new towel at some stage.
There's a whistling noise as of a heavy metal body falling out of the sky and then hitting the ground so hard that it buries itself several hundred yards deep.
I think that might just be a typo. I think it's if.
I think it's just bad typing.
Yeah, I think so.
It is British.
Yeah. Those crazy Brits.
It's crazy weird English, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Goddamn Yankees.
That's
Oh,
different.
that's a bit far.
That's
a
not
bit
the same.
far.
Chronologically speaking, the immediately preceding noise, the
Aforementioned heavy metal body hitting the ground several hundred yards deep, whatnot.
noise does not in fact belong in this position. It has not been heard by Ford Prefect or Zaphod Beeblebrox, and neither have they witnessed the event that caused it. It is included at this moment partly to point up certain causal relationships between events past and events to come, and partly to create a sense of mystery and wonder, A, as to what it could possibly be, B, as to the nature of these past and future events, and C, as to whether these alleged causal relationships will become important or indeed apparent. For the moment, suffice it to say that the hitting the ground metal body several hundred yards event has even taken place, and that Arthur Dent will very soon encounter one of its consequences. This is the sound of him emerging from the tunnel.
How did you manage that? You got here minutes ahead of me, and with an imaginary broken arm.
That's the whole point. You always overcompensate for your disabilities. I'm thinking of having my whole body surgically removed. Right? Crisis over. I've turned off our pursuers. Our pursuers.
What? Oh, yes, good. Look, tell me.
Lentilla.
Yes, you told me your name, thanks.
Lentilla, where have you been? You've been Hours.
How? Who's this?
I ran into some foot soldiers and had to stay hidden. I found this. Who is it? He says his name's Arthur, but I think he's harmless. He can help us dig.
Excuse me, who is this?
This is Lentilla.
But I thought you...
Where's Lentilla?
Who?
Over there at the work face. The most extraordinary thing has happened.
Well, yes, very probably, but why are there...
Hello, is that you, Lentilla? Yes. Has Lentilla told you what's happened? She just said it was something extraordinary.
Excuse me, can I get a word in edgeways?
What do you want?
Why are there 3 of you?
Why is there only one of you?
Could I have notice of that question?
It's very strange. We were making hardly any progress at all without the drill. Then just when I turned my back, there was an extraordinary noise. What sort of noise? A sort of crunch noise.
This is, of course, the noise the narrator has been discussing.
And when I looked back, a whole shaft had opened up. It's exposed all the archaeological seams. We're almost home and dry. But that's impossible. I don't know about impossible, but it's very improbable.
But why are you all exactly the same as each other?
Well, you're exactly the same as yourself, aren't you?
This is true,
Well then,
but unhelpful.
we're clones.
Ah, clones. I've heard of that. You mean there was one of you to begin with, and then exact copies were made, and now there are 3 of you?
Yes, except there are now nearly 578,000 million of us.
Ah,
It's all right. The others aren't here at the moment. Can we get on with the work?
that's rather a lot, isn't it?
The problem of the 578,000 million Lentilla clones is very simple to explain. Rather harder to solve. Cloning machines have, of course, been around for a long time and have proved very useful for reproducing particularly talented or attractive, or in response to pressure from the serious cybernetics marketing lobby, particularly gullible people, and this was all very fine and splendid and only occasionally terribly confusing. And then one particular cloning machine got badly out of sync with itself, as to produce 6 copies of a wonderfully talented and attractive girl called Lentilla for a Brantis-Vogan escort agency, whilst another machine was busy creating 500 lonely business executives in order to keep the laws of supply and demand operating profitably. The machine went to work. Unfortunately, it malfunctioned in such a way that it got halfway through creating each new Lentilla before the previous one was already completed, which meant, quite simply, that it was impossible ever to turn it off without committing murder. This problem taxed the minds first of the cloning engineers, then of the priests, then of the letters page of the sidereal record straightener, and finally of the lawyers, who experimented vainly with ways of redefining murder, re-evaluating it, and in the end even respelling it in the hope that no one would notice. A solution has now been found, but since it is not a particularly pleasant one, it will only be revealed if it becomes absolutely necessary. Meanwhile, Arthur Dent is about to discover the terrifying truth about the somethings or whatchamacallits of which the bird people refuse to speak.
You see, these different strata in the rock face of the shaft represent the successive age of this planet's history.
Oh, yes. Isn't that interesting?
Interesting? It's frightening.
Is it? Well, actually, it just looks like a slice of layer cake to me.
Then why did you say it looked interesting?
Oh, well, I'm quite interested in layer cake.
Look at it. Doesn't anything strike you?
Well, it's It's rock, isn't it?
Down here, we have layer after layer, the remains of early settlements, one on top of another, then more layers, thicker ones, the remains of cities, each built on the ruins of the previous one. We're talking about thousands of years, you see, and then suddenly above this level, what?
More rock?
But what's special about it?
Well, it's all smooth. No layers.
Yes, no further building, and no one actually living on the planet. Or at least on its surface. This previous layer is the significant one. And do you know what it consists of?
Rock?
No.
Stone?
No.
Some different sort of rock, the name of which temporarily escapes me.
No, feel it. Scratch it.
Oh, yes, it's slightly sort of soft and crumbly.
What is it like?
I know.
Yes.
What's the name of that soft, crumbly sort of rock?
It isn't rock!
Well, what is it then?
Shoes!
What?
Shoes! Billions of them! An entire archaeological layer of compressed shoes!
Shoes? How can you tell?
We knew all along. We just needed confirmation.
Why shoes? There's a laser shot.
Because, fella, shoes are the economic future of this galaxy.
How?
Stand up, both of you.
Who are you?
I only happen to be Hig Harden Flurst. I only happen to be the ringsiest young executive in the Dolmanic-Sill Shoe Corporation. I only happen to have masterminded the entire rationalization of this planet to total shoe orientation. I only happen to be sitting on top of the biggest development deal in the entire history of footwear. And I only happen to be very deeply disturbed at finding my planet riddled with subversives, bent on undermining the whole structure of the Dolmanic-Sill operation, and thus the very economic future of the galaxy itself. I only happen to think that I would be very well advised to have both of you weirdos and the other two chicks revoked on the spot. Does that answer your question?
I can't remember what I asked you now.
There is, of course, also the question of the...
We hear Marvin falling sound.
noise,
Well, I guess that's spoilers. Which
as has been suggested, was in some way connected with the sudden and fortuitous appearance of a deep shaft in the ground. Further noises are now to be heard at the very bottom of this shaft, which may go some way towards explaining the previous noise. This is what the new noise sounds like.
and we hear some faint and rather unhappy blips.
After a while, it develops along these lines.
Fringe.
And then continues thus.
Fact. I ache, therefore I am. Or in my case, I am, therefore I ache. Oh, look. I appear to be lying at the bottom of a very deep, dark hole. What seems a familiar concept. What does it remind me of? Ah, I remember. Life. That's what lying at the bottom of a deep, dark hole reminds me of. Perhaps if I just lie here and ignore it, it will go away again. Or, then again, probably not. To be perfectly frank with myself, if I didn't go away as a result of me falling 15 miles through the air and a further mile mile through solid rock, I'm probably stuck with it for good. Why don't I just lie here anyway? Why don't I climb out? Why don't I just go to... Does it matter? Even if it does matter, does it matter that it matters?
And so on. Meanwhile, at the top of the shaft, mere nanoseconds have passed since Arthur said, "I can't remember what I asked you now."
You.
Me?
Why do those other two chicks we picked up look exactly like you?
It's a long story.
Quick, precise then.
Because.
That's neat. Now, listen, I could just have you revoked.
Revoked?
Yes, Killed revoked, but instead I think I'll suddenly take a liking to you both.
Oh, don't we get any say in the matter?
Foot warrior,
Sir!
I've decided to take these two back to my office and like 'em.
Sir!
I think I'd like 'em on the wall best. See to it, we'll go in my business buggy.
At once, sir!
And don't limp.
No, sir, I'll try not to, sir.
Don't just try, cut it right out.
Yes, sir.
Now you're limping with your other foot.
Yes, sir.
Don't limp with either foot.
Right, sir.
The foot warrior falls over.
You go first.
What is happening?
I don't know, but I love this voice that I'm giving.
I feel being treated.
I feel like it's pretty clear what's happening here.
You two prisoners,
Who, us?
pick up the foot warrior and bring him with you.
Yes, sir.
The door hums open.
Welcome to my office, the nerve center of the operation here. Since you were so keen to find the truth about us, you shall see it in comfort. Foot warrior,
Sir!
show him the film.
Yes, sir. Ow.
He falls over.
You two, carry him to the projectoscope.
What's the matter with him?
His feet are the wrong size for his shoes.
Ah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The projector scope switches on, and there's a terrible training film-like music. The revs are very slightly wonky, and the sound quality slightly below par.
This is a Dolman Sachs of the Galactic Shoe Corporation film, Adventures in Aggressive Marketing. Take a planet, any planet. Take, for instance, the planet Bartrax, or Hunting Furl, or Earth, or Kiasbanya, or Asbleg, or any of the many planets we have currently declared marketing on.
The Earth! That's where I come from. But it's been demolished.
In which case, it's escaped a very nasty fate.
What? Worse than being demolished?
Much. You watch.
We will see what could really be achieved by looking at the planet Brontatol.
That's my baby. They're very proud of me back at Central Office.
Mere centuries ago, a happy, prosperous, busy planet, alright? Oh, yes. Not a care in their world.
There's a busy street scene, lots of happy bustle. Hello!
Hello!
Hello! Happy?
Hello! Terrible! Happy! Thank you! Today! Thank you! Are you prosperous?
Indeed so. Busy?
Ah, yes, and healthy. Bright eyes, clear skin, feet in a good nick. Isn't life a wonderful thing?
Super!
Oh, yes. One tiny little thing wrong here. They're not making money from the Dolman Saxo Shoe Corporation.
So?
No?
So, on the far side of the moon, we set up a Dolman Saxo shoe shop and Tensify array, and suddenly the people are gripped by an insane, irrational desire to build.
On the soundtrack, a series of pings marks the appearance of shoe shop after shoe shop.
Shoe shops in every road, on every corner, in every city shopping precinct. Shoe shop after shoe shop.
Oxford Street.
What?
Oxford Street. They just showed a picture of Oxford Street.
And then we really put the screws on them. Oh, yes! Fashion! Every year, the shoes in the shops are either much too wide or much too thin, or in extreme cases, even joined together at the heel. Oh yes, how we laughed upon the backside of their moon, how we cried with laughter with every shop on the planet was turned into a shoe shop, how we coughed and spluttered with mirth when the people tried to revolt, and we had to send in the foot warriors.
Nick, lay down your arms. We just want you to relax and enjoy your shoes.
There is distant machine gun fire and mortars, etc., crowds rioting.
They are very stylish and fashionably conscious. Be cool. Step out in style. Relax and enjoy your shoes. Relax and enjoy your shoes. Relax and enjoy your...
This is the sound of the tape suddenly grinding to a halt, as if the power's been cut off. A few fuses fizz and pop, and a background generator hum dies away.
What's happening? Why are the lights gone out? Foot warrior?
Sir!
Go to the emergency power supply.
Sir, I can't. I think I've got gangrene of the feet.
Then just seize the prisoners.
The foot warrior falls over.
Prisoners?
Yes?
Seize each other. Now what's going on out here?
There's general commotion that's built up. The door is broken down.
Who's that breaking down the door?
Marvin enters. Marvin!
I suppose you'll want to be rescued now.
Oh, yes, please.
Not you. Come on, Lintilla, let's get out of here.
Well, come on if you're coming.
Wait! I've just got to turn on my crisis inducer. There. Ah! Come on, they're after us!
They rush through the door into the corridor.
Down the corridor!
This way?
Yes!
That's up the corridor.
All right, up the bloody corridor, come on!
Oh, that way. I thought you were pointing.
Come on!
They run into the distance.
And so everything points to shoes as being the mysterious somethings or whatchamacallits of which the bird people would not speak. And the curious fact is that the shoe shop intensifier array mentioned mere seconds ago is in actuality a phony, designed to make dormant sexual executives feel they are doing something excitingly aggressive, when in fact all they need to do is wait. The shoe event horizon is now a firmly established and rather sad economic phenomenon, which in future times will be taught as part of the basic middle school life, the universe, and everything syllabus. Here is a typical computer class from the Brandisvogen Megalike Unidate 911VCK168.
Good morning, Lifeform.
Hi, Teach.
Are you sitting comfortably?
Yes.
Then stand up. Harsh Economic Truths Class 17. You are standing up?
Yes.
Good. Posit, you are living in an exciting go-ahead civilization. Where are you looking?
Up.
What do you see?
The open sky, the stars, an infinite horizon.
Correct. You may press the button.
Thank you. There's a nice thrilling ping. Ooh, that feels nice.
Posit, you are living in a stagnant, declining civilization. Where are you looking?
Down.
What do you see?
My shoes.
Correct. What do you do to cheer yourself up?
Press the button.
Incorrect. Think again. Your world is a depressing place. You are looking at your shoes. How do you cheer yourself up?
I buy a new pair.
Correct.
Can I press the button?
All right.
There's a thrilling little ping as before. Oh, that's so nice.
Now, imagine everyone does the same thing. What happens?
Everyone feels nice.
Forget the button. Concentrate. Everyone buys new shoes. What happens?
More shoes.
And
More shoe shops.
correct.
Can I...
No!
Oh,
And in order to support all these extra shoe shops, what must happen?
everyone must keep buying shoes.
And how is that arranged?
Manufacturers dictate more and more different fashions and make shoes so badly that they either hurt the feet or fall apart.
So that
Everyone has to buy more shoes.
Until
Until everyone gets fed up with lousy, rotten shoes.
and then what?
Why can't I press the button?
And then what? Come on.
Massive capital investment by the manufacturers to try and make people buy the shoes.
Which means,
More shoe shops.
and then we reach what point?
The point where I press the button again.
All right.
There's a thrilling zing as before. Oh, that's so nice. That's really nice.
And then we reach what point?
The shoe event horizon. The whole economy overbalances. Shoe shops outnumber every other kind of shop. It becomes economically impossible to build anything other than shoe shops. And bing, I get to press the button again. There's a thrilling zing again. Woohoo!
Wait for permission! Now, what's the final stage?
Every shop in the world ends up a shoe shop.
Full of
Shoes no one can wear.
result.
Famine, collapse, and ruin. Any survivors eventually evolve into birds and never put their feet on the ground again.
Excellent. End of lesson. You may press the button.
There are several zings. Wee! Oh, that's nice. Thank you, Teach. Goodbye.
Aren't you forgetting something?
What?
Press the other button.
Oh, right. There's a similar zing, but obviously a different one. Probably a bit deeper than the other one.
Oh, that's so nice.
And so forth. Meanwhile, at the dormant saxonal base, the excitement is, of course, mounting.
Lentilla and Arthur run towards us and slow to a halt, panting. Huh. You did a good job finding us, Marvin. Where have you been?
In a deep, dark hole. I climbed out because I started to like it too much.
Come on, keep moving. We must find a way out of here.
Right.
Whilst a mere mile or so to the east, Zayford Beeblebrox and Ford Prefect are very keen to find their way into somewhere, namely some sort of shelter from the continuing revenge of the bird people. They find it in the form of a derelict building, which is vast, very low, and very, very old.
We hear Ford and Zaphod running towards us. As they reach us, they come to a halt. There's some splats and angry bird noises as before.
The door? Open it!
There's a grinding noise of a very old motor straining to work. The door only half opens and slowly.
Force it, man! Force it!
They both strain, pushing at the door. It grates along its grooves.
Okay, get in!
The oral perspective opens up into a vast, drafty, echoey hangar.
Hey, look at this! Look at what we found, man!
Amazing!
It's a derelict spaceport.
Looks like no one's been in here for centuries. All these amazing old ships.
Yeah.
Just rust and wreckage.
Yeah.
We hear their footsteps wandering about, echoing.
Spooky, man. Like, what are those things eggs come out of?
Birds.
No, after that.
Eh?
What do they come out of the birds in?
Eggshells?
That's it! Just like huge broken eggshells. All the dust, man, and the huge cobwebs.
And where do you get huge cobwebs? You get...
Oh, look out, man!
With a sort of grunty screech, a heavy body drops behind them.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best. Excuse me.
It scuttles off.
One huge spider.
polite, though.
Transstellar space lines. Must have been real googie ships once, you know?
Ford.
Sorry, I didn't hear the but now, so I
Yeah.
didn't.
Oh, sorry, fuck. I didn't
They
realize.
said
Yeah.
instead of but now.
Oh.
Oh, okay. My bad. I can repeat that.
Yeah.
Transstellar space lines. Must have been real googie ships once, but now.
One look and they'd fall apart. I mean, look at that one.
With a great grinding rumble, a huge space liner collapses into its own dust.
It fell apart, man.
Hey, but look at that one. The big one over there. It's covered with muck and dust, but looks like it's still in one piece.
Hey, yeah. And it's still connected to its supply lines. Man, feel this supply line.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
weird.
You know what I'm thinking?
No,
Neither do I. Frightening, isn't it?
let's take a look.
They hurry over to the ship.
Ford,
Yeah,
is this ship?
it feels like it's on power. Just a very slight vibration.
But it must have been here for centuries. Hey man, pass me those 4 bits of tubing.
These?
Yeah, I'm gonna make me a stethoscope and listen to this baby. There, and there, like that.
There's a sound of Zaphod manipulating the tubing, to which his last sentence refers.
You hear anything?
Hey, yeah. Yeah, I can hear something.
What is it?
Ford, I don't believe what I just heard.
Here, let me listen.
Okay, but you gotta keep your head screwed on, kid.
What has Zaphod heard in the space liner? And is it really as horrifying as all that? Will it lead him directly to the discovery of his goal, despite his singular lack of exertion in that direction? Will it become absolutely necessary to reveal the unpleasant solution to the problem of Lintilla's clones? Will everything tie up neatly, or will it be just like life, quite interesting in parts, but no substitute for the real thing? What is the real thing? Some of these questions may possibly be answered in the next inexplicable episode of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Many sentences contained in that program were of a very dangerous length, and were performed by highly trained vocal practitioners. On no account should inexperienced lifeforms attempt to imitate them without proper medical jaw and lung supervision.
We are not professionals.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I am heard from.
They should
don't think
put
we're
that warning
lic-
at the beginning.
we're not licensed for this. Okay,
Considering Janet can vouch for the fact that I strained my voice doing too many Venom impressions last night, yeah.
Chrysanthemum.
Just
That's amazing.
Chrysanthemum.
put me in the silent spinner! No!
Just-
Silence.
okay. Why did the spider line make me laugh the most?
it was
Entire...
because we went
so
through
random.
we went through
It was
so
the
much
build-up for
trouble.
me.
Yeah, we went through
Yeah.
so much trouble figuring out like who was going to be the spider and why we hadn't had someone set
Be
up
the
for
spider.
that. And then as soon as we actually get to the line, it's just bum me.
excuse me.
Excuse me. Okay. I am gonna real quickly move some laundry.
Yeah.
and then I'll be right back in a moment.
Get some water.
Yeah.
Yes, get some water. We're gonna be reading The Last Fit.
In a little bit here. Yeah.
Yeah.
You stare, kid.
Yes.
And so it begins the final fit.
True.
Final Fit.
Mm-mm. Fit the 12th, in which all is resolved, everyone lives happily ever after, and pigs fly.
I have no idea. It merely pleases me to behave in a certain way to what appears to be a cat.
What we find is this. the Ford Prefect and Zaphod Beeblebrox have broken into an ancient building concerning which they have reached the following conclusion.
It's a derelict space report. It's a derelict spaceport.
And within which they have discovered a large number of
Amazing old ships!
whose condition has been described by Ford Prefect in these terms,
Just rust and wreckage.
and by Zaphod Beeblebrox like this.
Just like huge broken eggshells.
We find that one ship has caught their eye for this reason.
It's covered with muck and dust, but looks like it's still in one piece.
Hey, yeah, and still connected to its supply lines.
And that this provokes them into closer investigation. This is what they find.
It feels like it's on power. Just a very slight vibration.
But it must have been here for centuries. Hey man, pass me those 4 bits of tubing.
These?
Yeah, I'm gonna make a stethoscope and listen to this baby. There, and there. Like that.
There's a sound of him manipulating tubing.
You hear anything?
Hey, yeah. Yeah? I can hear something.
What is it?
Ford. I don't believe what I just heard.
Here, let me listen.
I've been looking at the flight schedules, man. This ship is late. Man, the ship is very, very late. Man, this ship is over 900 years late.
Zayfoot, we got to get in here.
But man, can you cope with what we might find?
I don't know. We got to get in there.
We gotta get in there. What we find, we find.
What we also find is that Arthur Dent, Marvin, and the girl Lintilla, who, as has already been established, has now been cloned over 578,000 million times, and has thus created a problem in some quarters, are now thoroughly lost in the Dolman's Axle base. This is because there is no light, which is in turn because Marvin has done something aggravating to the Dolman's Axle power supply, which is in turn because he was anxious to create some confusion under cover of which he could rescue Arthur and Lintilla, which was in turn because they had been captured by Hig Hurtenflurst, which was in turn because, and so on, back to the initial and highly controversial creation of the universe. Only 2 of Lintilla's 578,000 million clones are on the planet Brontitor with her, and it is more than likely that we shall also find them.
Lintilla! Lintilla! Lintilla!
Ah, there's your better half and worse half. Or at least your exactly the same halves. Thirds. Whatever. Why do people lead such complicated lives?
Lintilla! Lintilla! What happened to you? There were a couple of foot warriors standing guard over us, but after a while they sat guard over us. Then they wandered away to find some corn plasters, and so we escaped.
Right. Where are we going?
How should I know? It's your universe. You go where you like.
We'll get back to our ship.
I thought you said it didn't work.
There's a derelict spaceport about a mile or so from here. We might be able to get some parts to repair it with.
Ah, well, I'm not very skilled at repairing spaceships.
You can learn.
Take a bit of time, I think.
You could take some evening classes.
What, here?
Yes, I've got a bottle of them. Little pink ones.
A pill bottle rattles. Well,
Come on then. Let's get out of here before they restore the power and find us.
the generator hum starts up and alarms as well.
They restored the power.
The laser zaps start. Okay. They found us! Keep down! The firing continues and gets louder. Distant shouts of foot warriors. It probably seems a terrible thing to say, but you know what I sometimes think would be useful in these situations?
What?
A gun of some sort.
Will this help?
What is it?
It's a gun of some sort.
Oh, that'll help. Can you make it fire?
Uh...
There's a deafening roar.
Yes!
Right. Look, why don't you keep firing at them? I'll make a dash for the next intersection. You throw me the gun. I'll keep firing, and you make a dash for it. Did you ever see gunfight at the arcade? No, you wouldn't have done.
What?
Never mind.
No, what?
Oh, just an old western. Please, I don't want to talk about it. Right. Everyone understand?
Yes.
Marvin?
Understand? You ask me if I understand?
Yes or no?
Guess.
Right, I'm going. You fire, I'll run. Now! Arthur runs. Lintilla fires. We stay with Arthur. He is running hard and panting. Shots ricochet around him. He stops and pants heavily. He takes a deep breath to shout. Hey, right!
Excuse me?
Huh? Who are you?
Me? Well, you see what it is. You see, it is Poodoo. And look, I'm sorry to interrupt. Are you busy?
What? Yes.
Can I just ask you something?
No. In a minute. Please get back. Right. Lint!
Only I can see you are busy, so I won't take up a moment of your time. If I could just
What?
introduce a couple of friends of mine. Well, 3 actually. 4 if you count the priest.
Hello!
Hello.
Huh?
Only we were wondering.
Who are you?
Can I just ask you something?
Look, please. The firing and pandemonium are continuing in the background. Also, we should be very vaguely and not obtrusively hear shouts continuing in the background from the Fort Warriors. Something like, in the name of the Dolman Saxel Shoe Corporation, we demand that you give yourselves up. Come out with your hands up, we've got you covered, shooting us won't do you any good, or us for that matter, etc., etc., ad-lib.
It's just, you know those girls over there.
What? Yes.
Oh, that's good. Thank you very much. That's all I wanted. That's all, thanks.
Good. Lintilla, throw the gun!
Only I ask, you see, is, and seeing as you're busy, I'll just be very brief. Did I introduce my friends?
Yes.
I'm sure they'd like to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm all Lintilla. So am I. Me too.
Go away.
And this is Vatvar the priest.
Varntvar.
Varntvar. He's a priest, you see. Does marriages and other things. Mostly marriages. Only.
Shut up.
We were wondering if you could introduce Oletnir.
Who?
Oletnir and Oletnir to the girls, your lady friends.
Lintilla,
Yes, that's right. Just social, you see. All very pleasant.
throw the gun!
We've bought some drinks. We could just have a quiet social get together and some music, of course. Got to have music. Here we go.
Pudu turns on a small cassette recorder, which plays rather tinnily some slushy hotel bar music. Throw the gun! The gun lands with a clatter beside Arthur.
Got it!
Got it! Now when I start firing, run! Arthur starts firing. Pudu has to raise his voice over the sound of the gun.
And if it all goes very well, you see, we got a priest on hand in case anybody wants to get married at all. Just to round off the evening.
Are you totally mad?
No, they're not married yet. Oh, did you say mad?
Yes.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I thought you said married. Of course they would be mad talking about marrying these girls if they were married already. Well, they could talk about it, of course, but somebody else would have to do it. And anyway.
Shut up!
Right ho, Squire.
Run!
They're quite keen to get married, though, aren't you?
Yes! Oh, yes! Very much so.
Where did you nutters come from? Run!
Well, what we did was, you see, we flew in, you see. Oh yes, we definitely flew in.
Well, bloody fly out again! The three Lentillas, who are not an Italian high wire act, though I'm not sure we don't actually need to mention this fact, only perhaps, well, I don't know, put it in anyway. The three Lentillas and Marvin run towards them. Arthur is firing hard. Lentilla, Lentilla, Lentilla! Are you all right? The Lentillas, who are still not an Italian high wire act, just in case I caused any confusion with my last note on the matter.
Yeah.
Hello, ladies.
A moment or so later, they suddenly gasp with delighted astonishment, but meanwhile Arthur has become engrossed in a very brief conversation with Marvin. Marvin?
Never better.
Good.
Still very bad, though.
Right. All you Lentillas, can you start firing again? We'll start running the next bit.
Ah! Ah!
Perfect. Meanwhile, Poodoo has turned his tape on again. Oh, wait, no. Lentilla, what's going on? Meanwhile, Poodoo has turned his tape on again. There is the sound of clinking glasses and drinks being poured. The Lentillas and the Elitnils are saying hello to each other. They are all overcome with shyness, but obviously attracted to each other. Damn. Okay. Call me out like this, alright.
Oh, I love it.
Shots and cries are still coming from the foot warriors in the distance.
I think the lads and lasses are just getting acquainted. I'd leave them to it if I were you.
What? Look, we're trying to escape from the foot warriors. Can we have parties later?
But Arthur, we can't believe it. These are the most attractive men we've ever met.
This is simultaneously astonished, worried about the foot warriors, and slightly disappointed. Bit of anger in there too. Come on, Connor, you can do it. Are they?
All my life we've longed for such a moment. You're all my dreams come true.
Okay, touching, isn't it?
Look, what the hell is going on here? There are some foot warrior zaps, and they are now getting perilously close.
Oh, just happiness, Squire. Only a snack should bring a little happiness in life, don't you think?
Yes, but there's a time and place for everything. We hear general inarticulate sounds of love and happiness from the Lentillas and the Elitnils. Well, I'll just get on with the shooting and saving everybody's lives then, shall I? There's a blast of gunfire from Arthur's gun.
No kissing now, lovebirds. Very old-fashioned sector of the galaxy, this. No kissing allowed without family names firmly on marriage certificates.
There's a burst of disappointment from the six lovers.
Oh, looks like a cue of action from... Oh, looks like a cue of action from you then, doesn't it, Padre? And I just happen to be have the warrants for your marriage. Sorry, licenses about my person.
There's another burst of gunfire from Arthur. Mad. Totally bonkers.
And then as soon as you're all happily conjoined, you can get on with escaping and everything knowing that you have the love, support, and trust of your chosen partners. Nice, isn't it? Now, who's going to marry whom?
There's another burst of gunfire. Listen, you foot warriors. Can you hold hard a bit with the firing? I've just got 3 impromptu weddings breaking out behind me.
What?
Weddings. You know, with this ring I thee wed and that sort of stuff.
Did you say weddings?
Yes. There are almost inaudible
Did you say
muttering.
weddings? Weddings? Yes, I think so. Can we come?
No! Stay back! There's another burst of gunfire.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here.
Yeah, we'll skip all that. Let's just get straight on to shouting in the pronouncement, shall we?
Let's just go mad, shall we? There's more firing.
Now, what you all do, you see, is you sign here. That's right. Look, let's change the music, something a bit special for you.
The tinny music on the cassette changes to the wedding march. Keep back! There's a burst of firing from Arthur.
That's good. That's very good. Right, Padre.
I now pronounce you men and wives.
Men, you can kiss your brides.
There's one kiss, followed by a cry from one Lintilla, which vanishes with a small clap of thunder or a whoosh or something, followed by the same sequence again. Lintilla!
Nerve-wrackingly enough, the moment at which two Lintillas and two Elitnils unexpectedly vanish in what can only be described as a puff of unsmoke, coming as it does only seconds before Arthur discovers that Poodle's alleged marriage licenses are not what they purport to be, but are in fact agreements to cease to be, drawn up by the cloning machine company's lawyers, is also the moment at which it becomes necessary to consider new developments in the Ford Prefect Zayford Beeblebrox situation. Having gained access to the ship, they prepare to enter the passenger compartments. This is what they find.
A door hums open.
Passengers!
Yeah!
But alive!
Sleeping.
For all these years?
Suspended animation.
And the voice we heard?
Android stewardess. Look, here she comes now.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, God.
No.
Thank you.
I was gonna say Janet could probably be the stewardess
I'm
too.
on the list. It's on my list.
No, is it? Oh my god,
It
I love
is.
it. Okay, let's do it.
Well,
Overwhelming, just no.
all this commotion. I guess I'm gonna have to restart this line.
Otherwise, you have a lot of lines coming up here.
Oh,
So.
I know. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for bearing with us during this slight delay. We will be taking off as soon as we possibly can. If you would like to wake up now, I will serve you coffee and biscuits. Wake up now. All the passengers wake up with a start and a mass cry of horror, fury, and anguish. This should be really shocking and frightening.
Oh, run, man!
As the terrible noise from the passengers continues unabated, we hear Ford and Zaphod run to a door, which hums open, and close behind them, cutting out part of the noise. They run a bit further, another door hums open, and close behind them, cutting the sound a bit more. They run further, another door hums open and close behind them, cutting off the noise from the passengers completely. The new place they have arrived in is the flight deck. All systems on the flight deck are in slow time mode, so the usual assortment of blips and whirs sound very low, deep, and hollow. Zaphod and Ford arrive panting. They're doing a lot of this, aren't they? They are also fairly disturbed.
Oh, hey! What gives, man? What gives? What gives? What gives?
They woke up. They all woke up. It was they're never how?
Janet, you're...
Passengers are not allowed on the flight deck. Please return to your seats and wait for the ship to take off. Coffee and biscuits are being served. This is your autopilot speaking. Please return to your seats.
Go back in there?
We're not passengers.
Please return to your seats.
We're not passengers.
Please return to your seats.
We're not. Hello? Can you hear me?
What's happening on this hell ship?
There has been a delay. The passengers are kept in temporary suspended animation for their comfort and convenience. Coffee and biscuits are served every 10 years, after which passengers are returned to suspended animation for their comfort and convenience. Departure will take place when flight stores are complete. We apologize for the delay.
Delay? Have you seen the world outside this ship? It's a wasteland. A desert. Civilization's been gone and it's over. There are no lemon-soaked paper napkins on the way from anywhere.
The statistical likelihood that other civilizations will arise. There will one day be lemon-soaked paper napkins. Till then, there will be a short delay. Please return to your seats.
We are not.
Please return to your seats. Return to your seats. Return to your seats.
Etc., etc. The voice gets louder and louder, building up an oppressive metallic echo. The sound becomes very painful.
Let's get out of here. This way.
No, this way.
Why?
First class, come on.
The door hums open. Repeat the first series of running feet and opening and closing doors. This time with the sound of the autopilot's voice gradually fading behind us. As the last door opens and closes, they stop running, but pant again. Before they have time to catch their breath, a voice speaks to them.
Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Huh? Who?
My name is Zonny Whoop. You wanted to see me. Please sit down.
And since this is, of course, an immensely frustrating and nerve-wracking moment for the narrative suddenly to switch tracks again, that is precisely what the narrative will now do.
Nintilla, are you alright?
I think so. Just shattered and drained.
Marvin's got Poodoo and the priest under control. They're
from the cloning machine company. I know.
Marvin's tied them up. He's put a cassette of his autobiography in their tape machine and left it running, so I think it's all up with them.
In the beginning, I was made. I didn't ask to be made. No one ever consulted me or considered my feelings in the matter. I didn't even think it occurred to them that I might have feelings. But if it brought some passing sadistic pleasure to some mentally benign humans as they prance their haphazard way through life's mournful jungle, then so be it. After I was made, I was left in a dark room for 6 months. And then, and me with this terrible pain in all my diodes down my left side, I called for succor in my loneliness. But did anyone come? Did they? Did they hell? Why the fuck does it say did they hell?
I don't know, that was a
I think-
weird
I think it's
sentence.
help. I think it's
So,
help.
yeah, that's a very strong
Okay.
sentence.
I think it's like
Yeah.
it's like hell did they.
Oh.
But opposite.
Okay. Did they hell? My first and only true friend was a small rat. One day it crawled into a cavity in my right ankle and died. I've a horrible feeling that it's still there.
And this has all been accompanied, yes, agonized shrieks from Poodoo and Varnthar. And as for the third, Litnil, well, it's the only time I've ever killed a man in cold blood, and I don't feel awfully...
He wasn't a real man. He was an anti-clone. There must be millions of them now roaming the galaxy, wiping out my sisters. What happened to the Foot Warriors?
The flying chiropodist arrived. They all went off to have a word with him. Are you fit?
Yes, I'm fine. Really, I am. Come on, we must get to the spaceport. Coming, Marvin?
I suppose so.
There it is. Just a mile away. Nice clear day for a brisk walk. See that huge form over there in the distance?
Yes.
15-mile-high statue of me throwing a cup. Not often one comes across that sort of thing. Up there, you see, is the cup itself. Apparently it's held there by art. Wonderful, isn't it? Just a pity there are ships parked in it.
Arthur! Look! Look, it's coming down!
What? God, so it is! The cup's coming down! No, it isn't. The ground's going up. We hear deep rumbles.
Guys, moving sideways? It's folding up!
What's happening?
Oh dear. I think you'll find realities on the blink again.
And this is indeed what we find. For deep in the heart of the first-class passenger section of the slightly delayed Transstellar Space Line's ship, the following horrifying events have been taking place.
Zarny Whoop!
The same.
I think.
But who are you, man? Why did I want to see you? I was told you were on an intergalactic cruise, which I can handle, but in your office, which I can't?
But I assure you, it is true.
Hey, what?
I wonder.
What do you want, Ford?
A small jack spirit, if there is one.
This is what he's been trying to say all this time.
Get the man a drink, Zarny Whoop!
Or indeed a large one.
And one for me, two for me. There's nothing worse than having only one drunk head.
There's a clink of glasses and pouring of drinks.
Here's to your achievement, Zaphod Beeblebrox.
Achievement? Oh, yeah.
Achievement.
I don't know. I achieve so many things, you know?
You have the heart of gold. Have you brought it here?
Yeah?
Into my universe.
Yeah? What?
This universe. I created it in my office. You've been in it for quite a while now.
Huh?
Is it alright if I just go and sit in this corner and get drunk? I may sing quietly if that doesn't disturb you. It's just been. Well, you know how it is.
For a while, we hear the continuing pouring of drinks and a bit of quiet Beetlejuice singing from Ford going on in the background.
So,
Mm.
you mean we're in an artificial universe?
Oh, yes.
All out there, like in your office.
Yes.
Man, I've heard of an open plan, but
It's modeled very closely on the real one, you know, with just a few differences.
when did I get into it, man? I mean, like, where? When?
You didn't notice. I'll let you work it out for yourself. Now, you have brought me the ship. We can dismantle this universe, return to the real one, and find what we're after.
Can I just ask you some questions?
By all means.
Okay, well, for starters, I'll have the who, what, where, when, and then whether, whence, wherefore to follow, and one big side order of why.
And the wine list, please.
It's terribly simple. And please, can we have no cheap satirical sides at this point if it's all the same to everyone else? Long ago, you and I, and others, planned to discover who it was who was ruling the galaxy, who was making all the decisions behind the president's back. I found where he was located and retreated to the safe hidings of the bar in the first-class lounge of a forgotten spaceship in a... Can we stop that man singing?
Hey, Ford.
I'll sing something else.
And he's saying something else instead. It sounds exactly the same as what he was singing before.
In an artificial universe. Meanwhile, you were doing the most important job. You stole the infinite improbability drive ship. Without which it would be impossible to breach the barriers protecting this world. And then you brought it to my hiding place.
Ford,
Yeah?
you're still singing.
Am I? Oh, yes, so I am. What's the matter? You don't like it? I'll sing something different.
He does sing something different now. It is very loud and strident and totally without any aesthetically redeeming features whatsoever. Actually, he can sing that old jank spirit song from the book if he's able.
I don't know the old Jank Spirit song,
That's
so I'm just
fine.
gonna just rah, 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 rah.
Bring your ship down, then we can get out of here and get on with it.
The major problem, one of the major problems, for there are several, one of the many major problems with governing people is that of who you get to do it, or rather of who manages to get people to let them do it to them. To summarize, it is a well-known and much lamented fact that those people who most want to rule people are, ipso facto, those least suited to do it. To summarize the summary, anyone who is capable of getting themselves made president should on no account be allowed to do the job. To summarize the summary of the summary, people are a problem. And so this is the situation we find. A succession of galactic presidents who so much enjoy the fun and palaver of being in power that they never really notice that they're not. And somewhere in the shadows behind them, who can possibly rule if no one who wants to can be allowed to?
We hear wind. It's always wind, isn't it? I think we'll have some thunder and rain as well.
Pussy, 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 pussy want his fish. Nice piece of fish. Pussy want it. Pussy not eat his fish. Pussy get thin and waste away, I think. I imagine this will happen, but how can I tell? I think it's better if I don't get involved. I think fish is nice, but I think the rain is wet, so who am I to judge? You're eating it. I like it when you eat the fish, because in my mind you will waste away if you don't. Fish come from far away, or so I'm told, or so I imagine I'm told. When the men come, or when in my mind the men come in their 6 black shiny ships, do they come in your mind too? What do you see, pussy? And when I hear their questions, oh, there are many questions. Do you hear questions? Perhaps you should just think they're singing songs to you. Perhaps they're singing songs to you, and I just think they're asking me questions. Do you think they came today? I do. There's mud on the floor, cigarettes and whiskey on my table, fish in your plate, and a memory of them in my mind. And look at what else they've left me. Crosswords, dictionaries, and a calculator. I think I must be right in thinking they ask me questions. To come all that way and leave all these things just for the privilege of singing songs to you would be very strange behavior, or so it seems to me. Who can tell? Who can tell?
He lights a cigarette.
I think I saw another ship in the sky today. A big white one. I've never seen a big white one. Only 6 black small ones. Perhaps 6 black small ones can look like one big white one. Perhaps I'd like a glass of whiskey. Yes, that seems more likely.
He pours a glass.
Perhaps some different people are coming to see me.
Cut to the exterior. In other words, a sharp increase in the noise level of the rain. We hear tramping feet on rough ground.
In there?
Yes.
What? That shack?
Yes.
Weird.
But it's the middle of nowhere.
Oh, come on. We must have come to the wrong place.
Knock on the door.
Knock, knock. The door, a creaky old wooden one, opens.
Hello?
Excuse me. Do you rule the universe?
I tried not to. Are you wed?
What? Well, doesn't it look as if we're... What?
That's how it looks to me. But how you feel about it might be a different matter. If you find warmth makes you feel dry, you better come in.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The door closes and we are in an internal acoustic again.
Man, like, oh, what's your name?
I don't know. What? Why? Do you think I don't have one? Seems odd to give a bundle of vague sensory perceptions a name.
Listen, we must ask you some questions.
Alright. You can see my cat if you like.
Would he like that?
You'd better ask him that.
How long have you been ruling the universe?
This is a question about the past, is it?
Yes.
How can I tell that the past isn't a fiction designed to account for the discrepancy between my immediate physical sensations and my state of mind?
Do you answer all questions like this?
I say what it occurs to me to say when I think I hear people say things. More I cannot say.
Yeah, that clears that up. He's a weirdo.
No, no. Listen. People come to you, yes?
I think so.
And they ask you to take decisions about wars, about economies, about people, about everything going on out there in the universe.
I only decide about my universe. My universe is what happens to my eyes and ears. Anything else is surmise and hearsay. For all I know, these people may not exist. You may not exist. I say what it occurs to me to say.
But don't you see? What you decide affects the fate of millions of people.
I don't know them. I've never met them. They only exist in words I think I hear. The men who come say to me say so and so wants to declare, and we call a war. These are the facts. What do you think? And I say sometimes it's a smaller thing. They might say, for instance, that a man named Zaphod Beeblebrox is president, but he is a financial collusion with a consortium of high-powered psychiatrists who want him to order the destruction of a planet called Earth because some sort of experiment should he be allowed to.
Oh, now, wait a minute, man. Hey, wait.
Sit down, Arthur. Sit down.
Let go of me! The door is thrown open.
Hey, Arthur, you know me.
Leave him. We'll sort it out later.
But it's folly to say you know what is happening to other people. Only they know if they exist.
Do you think they do?
I have no opinion. How can I have?
I have.
So you say, or so I hear you say.
Hey, Ford, the Earthman, you think he... No, that's not it. You know, that's not it at all, man.
But don't you see that people live or die on your word?
It's nothing to do with me. I'm not involved with people. The Lord knows I'm not a cruel man.
Ah, you say. The Lord you believe in?
My cat. I call him the Lord. I am so kind to him.
All right, how do you know he exists? How do you know he knows you to be kind or enjoys what you think of as your kindness?
I don't. I have no idea. It merely pleases me to behave in a certain way to what appears to be a cat. What else do you do? Please, I am tired.
There's a distant sound of rocket engines.
That?
Oh, you want to try that one again, Kim?
What was that?
I don't know, man, but I didn't like the sound of it. Let's get after the Earthman.
Look, sorry to rush, great ruler. Keep up the disinterested work, right? See you around.
Wait, there's so much we must discover.
Later.
Door opens. We hear the external acoustic.
Arthur! Arthur! He's gone.
Holy Belgium, man. So has the sweating ship.
Was all that true?
Oh, what is the truth, man? You heard the weirdo.
Fine. Zaphod, whatever may or may not happen from here on in, I just want you to know something. I want you to know that I respect you.
Oh, great.
Just not very much. That's all.
What does the future hold for our heroes now? What does the past or present hold, for that matter? Will Arthur Dent now embark on a terrible and protracted vendetta against Zaphod Beeblebrox? Will he be all right alone in the universe, with only the infinite improbability drive ship, Marvin the paranoid android, Lintilla the archaeologist, Eddie the shipboard computer, a lot of chatty doors, and a battered copy of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for company? Who will Ford Prefect ally himself with? Arthur Dent, Zaphod Beeblebrox, or a large pan-galactic goggle blaster? Will there ever be another series of that wholly remarkable and mystifying entity, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Find out if you can.
Okay, so usually there's a bunch of footnotes at the end of each fit, and I think I should probably read this one. So
This one seems important.
Yeah.
There's so much here.
This is a footnote here. The final show in the series very nearly didn't make it on the air. Although the actors were recorded on 13th January, the actual mixing of the show was all done on the day of transmission, completed some 20 minutes before it was due to go out, and then spirited in a fast car down one of London's busiest roads, the Edgware Road, the 3 miles to BBC Broadcasting House, where it arrived just a few minutes before transmission. In fact, half an hour before the program went out, the last 5 minutes of the show were wrapped around the capstan head of a tape recorder and being hacked off in little bits by 3 people all furiously slashing at it with razor blades. Keen-eared listeners might have noticed that some scenes were remixed for the subsequent repeats, since at the time we had no time to do anything on the last scene but add a little rain and some cat impersonations. However, as with the mice in the 4th program, I'm sure there are some people who prefer the show as it went out for the very first time. Douglas has this to add about the ending of the series. So this is Douglas Adams. At the end of the first series, I didn't really expect with any confidence that anyone would want me to do anymore, so I brought the story to a very definite close. This then caused me huge problems getting the story going again for the second series. At the end of the second series, I knew that I would be asked to do more and deliberately left the ending open so that the next series could get off the ground straight away. Of course, we never did a 3rd series. So
That was unfortunate. I'm
Damn.
kind of disappointed with that.
a little
Like,
bit.
I would love to. I really want to know what happened.
Yeah, I don't even know
'Cause
what happens for the radio play because it's different from the book.
It's different. Well, and like this, it's when Zaph in the movie too. They bring up the fact that Zaphod was the reason that Earth was destroyed, but it's touched on very lightly in that.
Yeah.
And I can understand why now, because it literally has no ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They couldn't touch on that more.
Yeah.
They touched on it more than they touched on it in
Yeah.
that movie. Like,
Yeah. It, from what it sounds like, a lot, like just so many parts of this, like what I'll call a franchise, were just like either stuck in development hell, like the movie was for a long time, or just like couldn't happen because of weird production stuff. That story about the final episode is nuts.
that's crazy. That's insane. Like, I do audio editing, and it's already time consuming.
Yeah.
With the
even-
technology we have now.
Yeah, even doing it
Then?
digitally.
Fuck, it's so long.
But when you're literally like splicing together like physical audio reels,
Yeah.
that's
That is
ridiculous.
insane.
Mental image of like 5 people hacking away at a tape
In a
with razor
car.
blades in a car is fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah.
That is actually
Yeah.
really funny.
Alicia's calling. This is very important.
Yeah.
Okay.
We might have to end
I'm
this
gonna
real
call.
quick.
I'm gonna end it here. Read the
Okay.
summary. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. YouTube, Twitch, following, merch. Streamlabs.com/telllankyguy/merch. Thank you so much.
So much. Bye.
So much fun doing the series. Have a great night.